Okay, so the first question, look at that cow, is about quiet, solitude, and not having my phone. My phone was taken away from me as soon as I arrived, and that was beautiful because no more distractions. It's just out of my hands. There's no phone, no texting people, no thinking about the news. So then after that's gone, all we can really do is just be in the presence of ourselves and our mind. And so you start to notice by observing your mind how often thoughts come in that are just totally unrelated to the present moment. So you're sitting there, you're in a yoga class, and you're thinking about the past, and you're thinking about what you're going to do next. Your awareness can only be really focused in one thing. So it's an active meditation practice of noticing when your mind drifts and then bringing it back to the present moment. It was really interesting observing judgments about others. We're in silence with 20 other people, and we only see the way they act. We try and put this person into a box that our mind can understand. As soon as they talk, as soon as they ask a question, as soon as you interact with them, that model changes. You notice how often we are observing the outside world, but then also judging it, trying to label, trying to decide who this person is and whether we like or dislike that person. But what we also notice is that the way we judge other people is a reflection of how we judge ourselves, what we care about. So you start to notice that you're judging yourself when you judge other people. And finally, observing the mind, you start to notice when you're impatient, when you're frustrated, when you're hungry. We can't control what pops in. What we can control is how we react to those things. So there was a constant art of noticing when things come into our mind and then letting go of those, which is called surrendering. Surrendering to what happens in the outside world that's out of our control, just letting it go so we can stay peaceful. Because we can control only our reaction to those things that happen. It was absolutely exhausting. We had 6 hours of practice in the morning, then lunch and a 3-hour break. During the 3-hour break, we didn't have books. I did have my guitar. So I spent over an hour each day playing guitar, just based on memory. I was tuning my guitar by ear. I was just amazed. I would sit in this one spot overlooking the river, overlooking nature, belting into the wind and having a beautiful time in the present moment with myself. So this style of Iyengar yoga, it's not about building strength or even flexibility. It's about removing the tensions in our body so that we feel inner peace. We use props not to push, but to get into the correct alignment so that we can let go. Over the course of the 3 weeks, you see actual improvements in our posture. Our shoulders, typically rounded forward from looking at our phone or computer, started to come back into natural alignment. It's amazing. By hanging upside down every day, our spine is elongated. We bring circulation to the brain. The practice itself was interesting. 6 hours a day of getting into postures and just tuning inward. Very different from vinyasa, which is all about flowing through postures. Alignment doesn't necessarily matter so much. With this practice, it's mostly silent. So it's not fun, but it works. And a lot of people have been asking me whether I recommend this course. And maybe. It's not that efficient. It takes 10 minutes to set up every pose. You stay in a pose for 20 or 30 minutes. Most of us don't have that kind of time. And like I said, it's not that fun. It's a pretty boring practice. You get into a posture and look inward. And you meditate for several hours a day. That being said, it works. I learned so much going through this, and it was really hard, but it's not necessarily a fun teacher training. So feel free to ask me if you have more questions, but those are my 2 cents. That's all for now. See you later.